What's going on, guys? It is your boy Braden St. John here for the Dusty Finish podcast. Wasn't our first choice, but hey, it's the best choice. I'm joined by my good friends Nick Cecil and Hunter Craft, and together we form a Dusty Finish, Dusty Rhodes Appreciation Fan Club. Uh, this show's not about Dusty Rhodes, unfortunately, but it is about our love for wrestling.
Dusty Rhodes is my father.
And we're going to start with we thought it'd be a great way to start off the show and introduce everyone to the show by the first three episodes, each one of us taking you through our top 10 favorite matches of all time. And today we're going to start with my good pal, Hunter Craft.
Yes, so I got the unfortunate job of being first.
Yeah, you got the short end of the stick.
I did get
That's
the
what
short
you
end.
get for compiling your list first.
Yeah, so that's what I get for basically just telling everybody what my list was. So they're like, "Oh, you could go first." So basically, what I want to start with saying is that it seems like the majority of wrestling podcasts now seems to be so in depth in the business, and I feel like the fans' point of view has been kind of shied away from in podcasts, and I kind of want to bring that back. Fans worry about ratings and how much this is drawing, that's drawing. I just want us to talk about what made us fans of wrestling. You know what I'm
No Osprey matches on these lists, brother.
saying? But here's the thing: this is our opinions. Um, we're not going to be like Dave Meltzer and tell you, okay, this is good, that's bad, whatever. This is our opinions, and when you go through our list over the next 3 weeks, you're going to see that we all have preferences of styles of wrestling, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, so we're not saying, oh, this is the best match of all time. This is just our preference. So I just want to get that out of the way because wrestling fans are toxic nowadays, and so we're not trying to say this is the gospel and this is the matches that you need to watch over everything else. This is just our opinions. We're fans, and this is just what we like.
If you want to check them out, do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. These
and
matches are very
We're not
accessible
here
to
to force you to watch anything.
I, I
You're
think
along for the
exactly.
ride.
I think like most of these matches are probably ones that hopefully like everyone has seen multiple times. I
Mm.
mean, I know like I'm having trouble. Like I've got like 11 or 12 matches on my list right now. Like, and my problem is taking one off because it's like man, I'm looking at this list. I'm like, these are all super important matches for wrestling fans.
Mhm.
Like for
For
wrestling
wrestling in
in
general.
general. Yeah,
Right,
like
absolutely.
without giving too much away, I mean, my number one is probably one of the most important matches in wrestling history.
Mhm.
One of the biggest eras, biggest boom periods in wrestling wouldn't have happened if it
VLC.
weren't for this match. WLC, quick hot take,
Man,
quick
that
hot
was my
take,
honorable mention. You already gave it away, dog.
quick hot take. TLC 2014 is super underrated. Go back and watch that show. You have
Mhm.
excuse me, you have WLC. I shouldn't chug that Baja Blast. You have WLC. You have Kane versus Bryan in a pretty enjoyable little
Title match,
Extreme
Extreme
Rules
Rules
match.
match. Yeah,
Extreme
yeah.
Rules match. And then I believe it was
Shield versus Evolution. The
Shield
first one
versus
happened on that
Evolution.
happened on that
Um,
show. Cena and Bray
Swagger,
Wyatt in a cage
Samurai
match.
White and Cage. Swagger versus RVD versus Cesaro had a fun little hardcore match.
Mhm.
Very good show. I think did the Usos and Harper and Rowan have like a 2 out of 3 falls match on there or
I
something? Or
think that was the
That's
next
when
month at
is that
Payback.
when Harper powerbomb one of them like off the top rope to the outside
I think that
through
was.
those tables.
I don't know.
Did they
That happened
have?
at one point.
Are you sure?
Hmm.
Because I don't remember them having like a hardcore match at all.
I don't know. Maybe
remember
that
they
happened when
had
they were the Bludgeon Brothers. Maybe I don't know.
No,
maybe because
it was when they were Harper and Rowan.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hmm.
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, like I said, these matches on our list are just super impactful to us personally.
Mhm.
And the crazy thing is, like, Hunter's list, I've kind of glanced at it. You know, I wanted to leave myself a little surprise. I kind of glanced at it, and I mean, again, he's got some of the greatest matches of all time on there, and they're not on
Mm.
my list.
Yeah. It's just crazy how, and I tried to, because, there's obvious ones that everyone wants to name, but, I tried to make mine as unique as possible so we could have, some different variety, But anyway, I guess I'm going to go ahead and get started with my number 10. We're going to go from 10 to 1, start from the bottom to the top. So my number 10 is so how I would describe this match is, so as wrestling fans, as kids, we played with action figures, right? And we had all kinds of craziness in our wrestling figure matches. And this match to me is what we imagine in wrestling figure matches. And
So
that was
can me and Nick real quick for each one? Can we make quick little predictions of what we think it is?
sure, go ahead. Yeah.
TLC
Yeah.
2.
Nick, what's your prediction?
Action figure dream matches.
Mhm. Just think of all the craziness you like to do in wrestling figure matches.
TLC 2, dude. X7.
Oh man. Would you go with Sean and Razor at 10?
Actually, my number
Yeah,
10 is. Oh, go ahead. All right, y'all want to
I was just gonna
continue
say,
discussion or okay?
is that no? Because we don't need to make it too long. But to
Yeah,
me, me, Razor and Sean isn't like an action figure match because
yeah,
that's a very planned out, methodical, simple spots. Like your action figure match is like TLC 2. I'm gonna have him hang from the belt and the other guy jump off the ladder. Like that's an
right,
action figure
right.
match.
So my number 10 is The Rock versus Triple H from Judgment Day
Oh
2000 in
man.
the 60-minute Iron Man match for the
Oh
WWF
man. That's when
Championship.
Undertaker just came in and wrecked balls, dude.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You had so much going on in that match. That was peak Attitude Era,
That's a
man.
very underrated feud right there.
Absolutely.
I loved their strap
Absolutely.
match. Their strap match was really good. That was at what was that at?
That was in 99, I'm pretty sure. Maybe like No Mercy, maybe. I don't remember.
It was
No, it wasn't No Mercy. I'm trying to
no.
think. Fully Loaded?
Yes,
Yes, because
Fully
Austin
Loaded.
fought Taker in the first blood
Yep,
match on
Fully
that
Loaded.
show.
Yep. That's a
Yep.
great video package, by the way, to the first blood match, and it shows
hmm
Austin stabbing Vince with the pen and signing his name on the contract in Vince's blood.
hmm
You think you're
And you could
special?
also go back to their matches in '98 when The Rock was in the Nation and Triple H was in DX. The 2 out of 3 falls match had it Fully Loaded '98, and the ladder match at SummerSlam was
SummerSlam.
incredible.
Oh
Could
man.
you imagine if if cards fell differently? If at WrestleMania 40, you know, The Rock comes in, he's slinging Mama Rhodes. He's like, "Come on, Cody, get up!" And then boom, time to play the game.
Oh man, that would
And
have been
Triple H
something
just
else.
comes in with a sledgehammer.
So, this might be a very controversial opinion, but I'm going to say it. Triple H and The Rock was a better feud than Austin and Rock.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing about Austin and Rock is that it was spread so much. It was spread out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Triple H and Rock, most of their stuff was kept together.
right.
You know what I mean?
And I'd
Right.
even say Triple H Austin was a better feud. You had
Yes,
that
they had some great
three
matches
Stages of
too.
Hell at No Way Out.
Well, let's be
Mhm.
honest. Triple H is one person that gets overlooked a lot when
Thank you.
when
I
getting
absolutely
put
agree.
onto top 10 lists.
I mean,
Everybody's got H at like 7 or 6, but H is like a top 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
spoilers for when we eventually do top 10 favorite wrestlers in a few months. Like, Yeah.
We're Triple H fans.
Oh,
Triple
yeah.
H is Triple H is in my he's the you can fight me all you want, people. The coolest wrestler ever. He's not the
So-
He's
most
one of
technical wrestler. He's not the most technical wrestler. He's not the best wrestler, the best talking wrestler maybe, but he is the coolest. The dude
Mhm.
comes out to Motorhead and spits water in the air with green lights adorning him. So cool.
Which you know me, I'm a
Man.
Shawn Michaels fan.
Right. But
come
the
around.
match is so good, and it's hard to keep fans engaged for 60 long minutes.
Well, I mean,
Um,
look at Brett and Sean. Match was great. I know Braden isn't going to agree, but match was great.
right.
But it's a lot of rest holds. A lot
Mhm.
of rest holds.
I hate the Iron Man match.
I felt that The Rock and Triple H were able to keep the fans engaged at a high pace. You had DX interfering because that was when they reunited DX, and Vince McMahon was involved in
Let's go,
DX at
dude!
that time. Shawn Michaels was guest referee. Okay, well, here's my complaint of the match. The finish was but it made sense.
Well, when
It
you got
made sense.
Undertaker coming out and destroying everyone.
Right. Undertaker just lays out everybody, and Shawn gives the DQ. It's a great finish. Don't get me wrong. In theory, it's great, but I just, it kind of just brings it down. You know what I'm
Just laid
saying?
soup bombs to everyone.
But I totally get why they did it. It kept everybody safe, and it looked good. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand why they did
'Cause
that.
in 2000, there was no bigger megastars than The Rock or Triple H.
Right.
I just
I
don't
mean,
think there is.
Right, and the thing that I thought about earlier when I was thinking about this, The Rock was a good foil for Stone Cold Steve Austin, but
Mhm.
they turned him babyface at the right time because Austin went out with the neck injury in late '99, right?
Yep.
And Triple H was coming up, and so they were the perfect foils for each other. Like, incredible. You could flip the roles. Rock be the baby face, Triple H be the heel, Triple H be the baby face, Rock be the heel, and it works.
Mhm.
They just have that great chemistry that I don't think many people had. And like I said, I feel like they engaged the audience in a very thrilling match, and the story was great. Everything was great. Taker's return was great. Um, so if I was to suggest an Iron Man match based on insanity and run-ins and all kinds of cool stuff, that's why I said action figures. We all had run-ins in our action figure matches.
Plenty
That's
of-
the match I go to. That's the match I go to. So that's my number
Braden,
10.
you're lying.
and-
Braden, you're lying. You're lying if you say you never did run-ins.
Oh,
I've
man.
never been a big I save the run-ins for big important moments, but it's a overused trope, I
Me,
think.
Oh man, when me
me
and Hunter
and
did
Nick
it,
were all run-ins.
all run-ins.
all run-ins.
Whole show
Whole
was
show was
run-ins
run-ins and DQ finishes.
It's-
We
it's-
were Vince Russo
I
booking
was
it.
going to say it's just an episode of Nitro, brother.
Do you remember when we made John Cena die?
We made we made a lot of people just fall off that cage of death. But anyway, back to the list. So
Number 9.
number 9. All right, you want to give predictions for number 9?
Sure.
Give
All
us a
right.
hint so we can work around like you did with the
Yeah. Give us some,
So it's the first time that these two met in a match, and um, in this match, someone was coming back after a somewhat decent hiatus, and they were facing up against someone who was coming up in the ranks. They had a really good performance at a certain pay-per-view, and they gave a promo that changed their whole career projection. And a couple months later, they faced off
Cena-
against each other.
Cena Punk.
Cena and Punk.
Cena Punk.
Cena and Punk.
You're both wrong.
What?
At number 9, I have Bret Hart
Jinder
versus
Mahal
Stone Cold Steve Austin at
Ooh.
Survivor Series 1996.
Survivor Series.
Wow.
So here's what I mean difference, right? I knew someone was going to put Bret and Austin at WrestleMania 13. I just
Exactly.
knew it. And I didn't want to be like that and
Who
be
would
like,
do
I didn't
that?
want to put that on there. So I went with their match at Survivor Series '96,
Here's
which
the
was
thing.
so good.
Here's the thing, though. When you talk Brett and Austin, what's the first match you think of?
WrestleMania 13.
But you go back, you watch that Survivor Series '96 match. You're like,
Mhm.
man, this is really good.
Yeah.
Like WrestleMania 13 was great, but my
Mhm.
goodness.
Okay. We'll go ahead and get this out of the way real quick.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
There's no greater in-ring storyteller. I will die on this hill. There's no
Bret
greater
the Hitman.
in-ring storyteller than Bret Hart.
I have
He
to
may-
agree with you
He
on
may
that.
not be the best out
There
the
you
ring.
go. The goat. The goat.
That here's at Walmart. I might. I don't know. I might.
It's good.
They have him, Hollywood, and Piper.
Ooh, great selection.
I got mine.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Bret Hart he's one of my favorites of all time.
Absolutely. You know,
Man.
so here's the thing. I used to be one of those people. Oh, Bret's so bitter. Bret's this.
Trash Bret Hart.
But now, as I get older, I'm like, dang, Bret Hart was such a good pro wrestler.
I think that's what it is. I want to give a shout out to a few of my boys overseas, OOC, B1, and
Hope to collab one
yes,
day there.
yes, and
Yeah,
Jay,
well,
Jay
hit us
Hunter,
up.
at OSW. You know, OOC. I'm OOC. I'm the American OOC. OOC
Mhm.
went on and on about how fantastic Bret was, and Jay and B1 were like, nah, Bret, you know, he's just not. It's not exciting, you know, like why, you know, he doesn't. But then they went back and rewatched every new Gen pay-per-view, which hats off to you, brothers.
God
Bret-
bless their hearts.
Bret, horrible promo. Horrible.
Yeah, oh, terrible.
Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels.
I was say, you want to hear Bret Hart promo? Shawn Michaels. Let me tell you something. Shawn Michaels. This Sunday, Shawn Michaels. I'm stepping in the ring with Shawn Michaels. And it's
You
not
know I
gonna be
don't like
Shawn
about
Michaels.
Bill Goldberg. Let me tell you, Bill Goldberg. Let me tell you something about Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg.
But
Does
when you
Bret
get,
Hart like Bill Goldberg? No.
but when you get inside those four ropes, no one's better than Bret Hart when it comes to telling a story.
Man.
Bret Hart.
And so,
Fantastic.
here's the thing too. Everybody remembers Brawler Steve Austin, right? After he had the neck injury, after that pile driver. But man, in '96, could Steve Austin go?
Austin was
Oh
such
my
a great
gosh.
wrestler before he got hurt.
Yes, he was. Oh man. And
Which
they
I'm
Go
just
back and
split.
watch his WCW stuff, dude.
Now, I'm not saying
Go
he's
back
bad,
and watch.
like after the neck injury, because I mean that neck injury literally changed his entire career. But
He was very like you said, he wasn't bad, but you know, it's like he was just very, you know, like he broke it down to like a John Cena style
Mhm.
type moveset. Like, okay,
Right.
finisher, you know,
Yes.
I do my stunner, my Thez press, my little that, and you know, like that's it for me. Maybe a few punches and a few little belly stomps. That's it.
you guys know I love Cena.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Who does that? But
Like half
just
the internet.
but just that match was really good. And you know, I personally feel that the WrestleMania 13 match wouldn't have been as good if the Survivor Series match didn't happen. And you know, that was Bret's first match back after WrestleMania 12, after he lost the title to Shawn Michaels.
I forgot
And you
about
know,
that.
everybody was
tag match.
anticipating that return, and it was against this foul-mouthed Texan who won King of the Ring and who was on the rise.
Oh yeah.
And they told the story so well, and the finish was so good. Steve Austin had the $1 million dream on Bret Hart, and he rolled it up. He
Rolled
got
it
on
up.
the turnbuckle and rolled it up like he did Piper at WrestleMania
Mhm.
8. So good. If you don't watch anything this week, watch that match. You will not regret it.
So an idea just came to my head for an episode.
Okay. What's up?
Actually, a series.
Oh. Ooh. Okay.
Wrestlers Court, where we defend wrestlers that people trash.
Oh. I like it. I like that idea. We'll have to
That'd be
keep
great.
that in mind. Actually,
So in the case of one Jeff Jarrett,
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
No, that's great.
unfortunately, Jeff Jarrett versus Razor Ramon. I don't know if it's on my list, but
Bro
it's
called
close.
that match hold for hold.
Close.
Hold for hold.
It's
He gave
really
the most
close.
in-depth analysis of that match I've ever seen in my
But
entire
y'all
life.
be honest, Jeff Jarrett versus Razor Ramon was the best match on the entire card.
It was
But
amazing.
it's WrestleMania 11, so it's not saying much.
It's not saying much, no, but like you could put that match on like WrestleMania 10. Still would have stood out. Maybe not as good as Owen and Brett. Still would have stood out as a fantastic match.
I think Doink the Clown and Dink the Clown versus Bam Bam and Luna stood out more than Jeff Jarrett and Razor.
Nick, you loved that match.
I did
too.
love that match. I'm just ripping. I'm right.
That match is fantastic. If the finish was clean, it'd be a
Oh
top 10.
boy. Oh
All right,
boy.
back to the list. Back to the
Hunter.
list.
All right, so we're back. We're down to number 8 now, and I'll give you guys a hint.
Yeah,
It's
give
a
us one.
Rumble match.
2001.
Royal Rumble 2001. It's gotta be.
Yes, you both got it right. It's Royal Rumble 2001.
I think
I like to, here's the thing. With the Royal Rumble 2001, I like to call it the Kane Rumble because
I
if
love-
Kane was not in that match, it would not be as good as it was.
I love how Hunter was like, oh, I want to be a little different, so I don't want to put Austin versus
What's
Brett.
the best Rumble match on there?
No, he puts the most popular Rumble match on the list.
No, everybody says 92. I don't want to hear it.
Here's mine.
92
It
is
wouldn't
not
be,
the best.
It wouldn't be
92
on
is
my
not the
top
best.
10 list, but my favorite Rumble is 08.
That's
Oh,
a
it's
good
a good one.
Still not
wait.
best.
2001 is a phenomenal Rumble match. Like you said, Kane stole the show. Kane put on the performance of a lifetime in that match.
Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man.
Nah, bro, Drew Carey.
No, Bull Buchanan.
You know-
B squared.
As much it was cool, as much as it was cool that Austin won that match, makes you wonder, man, if they would have let Kane go over in that match.
I'm telling you one thing: if Kane would have went over, he would have been hot.
Yeah,
Red hot.
right.
Now,
No pun intended.
you wouldn't talk about that. One thing I constantly think about is all the Royal Rumbles. Like, there must have been maybe even a dozen Royal Rumbles that were done on house shows to
Mhm.
kind of like, one early on to like test the water, see how this match would do. And then later on, they did them just to like boost ticket sales and boost fan reactions. Like, I think
Yeah,
Owen
greatest Royal
Hart
Rumble.
Owen Hart won a house show Royal Rumble. Mr. Perfect won a house show Royal Rumble.
It's better than the list who won actual Rumbles, like Big John Studd. Come on, man.
I saw Jim Duggan.
Look, in a world where everyone
In a
on
world.
this in a world where everyone in this podcast right now was hoping Santino Marella was going to win the 2011 Royal Rumble, I think we can let Big John Studd slide.
Okay, you're right. All right, you got a point. You got a point.
In a world where people wanted Rusev to win the 2015 Royal Rumble.
Rusev was pretty hot back in
He
2015,
was very
though.
hot. Rusev Day, and he was just that was
Yeah, Rusev
Well, no,
Day was
Rusev
until-
Day was like 3 years after that. This was when he was the undefeated U.S. champion.
Okay, yeah,
That
so
is
2015
true.
Yeah, 2015 was WrestleMania 31. Yeah,
Yeah.
When he had that match, Cena.
one of the worst WrestleMania builds ever to the greatest WrestleMania. At least
Oh,
one
it was
of.
such a good
At
Mania.
least one.
We got to
of
do
is-
top Manias next Mania season.
Yeah.
I'll
That'd
be
be a
honest
good-
with you guys. Didn't Cena and Rusev had the finish with the chain at Fastlane, didn't they?
Payback.
Was that Payback?
Payback.
That was a
Payback.
great match. And the strap
Payback.
match that they had at Extreme Rules was really good that year. Cena and Rusev worked together well.
They did.
Yeah.
They worked very well. Cena's United States title reign is a legendary run.
Mhm.
I mean, this was a time
This is a time where Sami Zayn threw his shoulder out. He was so hyped.
Yeah.
It was. This was before that, right? Because Sami didn't come until late 2015.
No, he came in and wrestled a match with Cena.
Yeah, he accepted the open challenge with Cena. He was about to wrestle Kevin Owens at a takeover or something like that.
But like this
threw his arm out of the socket.
It's crazy, but like you look at the roster at the time, you know, you had like on NXT, you had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, Ben Balor, Hideo
Neville was still there, wasn't he?
Neville, Bo Dallas. You had, I think Revival was still on. I think
Gable and
Jordan were just getting ready to make their debut. I think.
Samoa
Joe had just came back. I think.
Yeah.
You had Baron Corbin, and then on the main roster you had Cesaro and Cena,
Seth Rollins,
Ambrose,
and
Reigns.
You had
Lesnar,
Cody. You had such an incredible roster. You had the New Day. You know, the Usos.
When they were actually bearable.
Hey man, I'll tell you, underrated tag team was Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Great tag team.
Great
so
tag
good.
team. But like look at WrestleMania 31, one of the great WrestleManias. Look at the card for that show. Look at the roster. The crazy thing is, these were some of the at the time they were dark times for in ring wise.
Very dark times.
Boy, it sucked being a teenager in 2015.
Did we not know what was coming to us, Bubby?
We ate good that night.
If you told me in 2015, like, hey man, you think it's bad now? Wait till 2019. I would have been like, nah, it can't be that bad. Can't be that bad.
Then they were like, hey, we're going to give you one of the greatest years of wrestling next year.
Yeah.
2016. My God, what a year.
Incredible. But yeah, and like, so this was kind of dark times for WWE in ring wise. So Cena really came and took the ball and ran with it. You know, he was having fantastic matches weekly with Ziggler, Cesaro, Sammy, Neville.
Cena and Barrett had a really good match in the UK during that title reign.
I don't remember that match.
It was on Raw when they went to the UK. It was really good.
Nice. Very nice. All right, Hunter, we'll give you the floor again.
Yeah, but that's fine. We're fans. We want to talk about what we like.
Royal Rumble 2001 to John Cena.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. But man,
2020 is the greatest Royal Rumble.
No, it's not.
Which one?
He said 2020.
Right?
Absolutely not.
Wait. Yeah, 2020 is the one Drew won, right?
I'll be honest, it was good, and the reaction he got from home was amazing, but I wouldn't put it at that level.
I think
I would say 04 is a better Rumble than 18. Not 18, 20.
04 had a really good finish, though, with Redacted and Big Show.
Redacted and Big Show?
Oh, you're talking about...
Crispin who?
No. You're talking about
Crispin who?
No, what? They redid that finish. Who? What?
They did redo that finish, and it was recent, wasn't it?
Yeah. What Rumble was that? They redid that finish for?
Wasn't it?
It was Braun Strowman and somebody, wasn't it? It was I'm
trying to think.
Man, crap. I don't know.
God, was
Seth,
it 20?
The year Seth won it. It was the year
2019. 2019. Okay.
Yep.
That was a decent Rumble, too.
Yeah, it was.
It just suffered from the whole trope of,
Which WrestleMania 35 sucked really bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
And, it suffered from the whole trope of heel faction, takes out the eventual winner, attacks him. Winner takes a nap for 25 minutes, comes in, wins the match.
Yeah, but man, let's think about it. Let's think about this. 2001 was like the peak year of creative in WWE. At least the beginning of 2001 was.
I would say
incredible.
2001 was also the peak for I wouldn't say peak for fan interest because I would say maybe 97, 98 was.
Maybe
said-
99 could be thrown
maybe
in there too.
99. Yeah.
You said
But-
2001 was peak creative.
Listen. I said
2024, Bubba.
Hold on.
2024.
Listen to me. I said the beginning of 2001. I didn't say the invasion of 2001. Let me finish. But man, from Rumble to WrestleMania was peak. And then they had to screw it up and have Steve Austin turn heel.
Yeah, didn't they have Austin and H in 3 Stages of Hell at
That was
No Way
the
Out?
next month at No Way Out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a great match.
Fantastic match.
Yeah, it was great.
Kind of makes you wonder what would have been if Austin hadn't turned heel.
And another thing I wonder about that year too is if Triple H hadn't have torn his quad because he did that in 2001.
Another thing is, what if Raven would have ran over the wire and cut the power to the
Oh man, the many things we wonder about
The many
2001.
things of Raven.
Right.
We need to take one L episode just to discuss the Raven.
That'd be great.
This is true.
But
All right.
man, that match was so good, and that's my favorite Rumble of all time. Rumbles are subjective because there's so many good ones. It's hard to pick. 92 is a good one.
07 is a great one.
07's a great one.
08.
08's good. 2010's a favorite of mine.
I do
I
like
love 2010.
Which the whole story with Michaels in 2010 was worth it.
Mhm.
Where he was like trying to win the Rumble just to face Undertaker.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, you have so many good ones to pick from, but I just think 01 is the peak because there were so many top guys. You had Kane, Undertaker, Austin, Rock, even Rikishi was
Jesus Christ,
considered.
I was
a
going to say
main guy in
Rikishi. Yeah.
2001. That's crazy
Angle.
to think, but Rikishi was a top guy in 2001.
Angle? Which Angle was Angle in the Angle wasn't in the Rumble, was he?
No, he had wrestled in a title match against Triple
Right.
H. He defended the title against
Yeah,
Triple
because
H that night.
Austin
Mhm.
had gotten involved.
Yes, and then Triple H got involved with Austin in the
Yep.
Rumble match. Yeah.
Crap, man. I hate you guys.
Hey man,
Why?
I hate you too.
You just were sitting here talking about 2001 Rumble, and I just thought about another contender for top 10 great matches of all time.
We're
what
making
else
his
happened?
job hard. We're making
What
his
else
job
happened?
hard.
What else happened on that card?
In 2000, the Rumble in 2001.
What else happened?
Oh,
on that
Jericho and Benoit in the ladder match. I
Jericho,
completely forgot
Benoit.
about that match.
card? Jericho
That was a
Benoit.
good ladder
That
match.
was a great ladder match.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
I think
so
it's time
number
to transition.
7. Number
What's your
7.
hint? What's your hint?
War Games.
92 Wrestle War.
He
He got it?
he got it. What was he gonna say? What was he
I was
gonna say?
I was going to say
Bloodline.
the year before last.
The Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes.
Yep.
Dude,
Okay.
that was a good one. The story was good in that one. But here's the thing: the baby faces went first. They got the
That was
advantage,
not-
and you never do that
that
in
was
War
not-
Games.
That was not a good War Games match. Not a
Oh.
good War Games match. That was not a good War Games match.
Why? Because it didn't have a top on the cage.
That's part of it. I hate that there's no top on the cage. I hate the excessive weapons. Because look
Yeah,
at, okay,
I don't really like the excess weapon usage.
I
I
know
wish
this
they
is-
would focus on the cage as a
Yeah,
weapon more.
that's the whole point of the cage.
I know this is your list, Hunter, but look at this match.
Mhm.
At one point, because you're locked in a cage,
Mhm.
but these two teams wanted to hurt each other so bad, they stooped to undoing the turnbuckle and taking it into the turnbuckle,
Yes. Yes.
just jamming each other in the head with it.
Sting was press slamming, when they do the press slam, he was
Amazing.
pressing someone up into the roof of the
It's one of
cage.
my favorite spots.
So
One
good,
of my
man.
favorite spots.
So good. the Dangerous
My
Alliance
favorite
was
spot-
on a roll in '92. Man, you had Steve
think-
Austin.
I
Go
think
ahead.
my
I'm sorry.
I think my favorite spot, that
Mhm.
one's a close second, but is when Sting grabs a hold of the ceiling and Hoist does a pull
Oh
up
yeah.
and does a drop kick. That's
Sting
awesome.
was so innovative, man. He was so creative with his surroundings, and that's what makes me appreciate Sting. You know, Sting wasn't the best worker in the world, but man, was he creative and was he innovative with his surroundings. And
Which-
I can respect that.
A lot of people look at Sting's run from WCW, and it's understandable why he's not a bad or why he's a bad worker. But
Mhm.
then you look at his TNA work. My
Mhm.
goodness, Sting
Right.
carried TNA through
Oh, yeah.
a lot. Sting,
You want to go back and watch some of those Sting matches, brother?
in
Oh, come
TNA,
on. Him and Kurt, bro. Him and Kurt.
Sting made
was-
Mick Foley look good in 2009. I don't want to hear it. That was one of the worst cage finishes I've ever seen in my life.
I'm about to get us canceled. I'm about to get us
Oh
canceled.
no. Oh
Please
no.
don't.
Keep treading waters.
Oh no. But man, just think about who's in the Dangerous Alliance. He had Rick Rude, Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, and Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko. That's a heck of a squad right there, man.
Pull that Glock out.
And the
match.
finish was very good too. Like, sure, it was only like an armbar finish, but the way they did it was so good. Zabisco hit, I think it was Eaton. He hit Eaton with the turnbuckle. They were trying to hit, I think, Sting with it, and Sting ducks, and Eaton gets hit in the shoulder with the turnbuckle. So Sting grabs Bobby Eaton in an armbar kind of deal, and he taps. It's so creative. It's, you know, it's probably considered dull or plain today, but man, it's so good and it made sense.
Which
It
I
made
mean,
sense for the match.
look at wrestling today compared to
Right.
1992.
Right.
It
could
sucks
You could
today. It sucks today.
look, it's AEW superstar Adam Copeland.
Compared to 92.
WCW 92 was a whole different animal. Let's be real.
I would say like 96 to 2007 is untouchable in wrestling.
It's pretty good.
Untouchable.
Especially WWE. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm a Ruthless Aggression fan. I think that was a great period of wrestling.
It's my favorite era.
Absolutely. It's mine too. And this new era is like right behind it. It
We know
hasn't
what
reached there
Braden's-
yet, but it's
We know what
it's
Braden's
getting there.
favorite era is.
Oh, he likes the new gen. He likes the terrible stuff. He likes the Godwins. That's his favorite tag team of all
He
time.
likes Doink and Dink versus Bam Bam and Luna Vachon.
That match isn't that terrible, man. Honestly, it's not. No, it's really not.
He likes what was it? Doink Dink Pink and Stink.
I think
That
that's
match
what it
is
was.
Versus Jerry, Sleazy, Cheesy, and Wheezy.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and open up Wrestler's Court now because WrestleMania 10, Falls Count Anywhere.
Oh no.
jeez.
That
Oh
match is
no.
good, dude.
Russian Macho Man.
All
Oh
right,
no.
Connor, it is going into the AM, so I guess let's get back on with the list.
Okay, so here's to number 6. And here's your hint. In your house.
Oh, Michaels
first-
and Mankind. Mind Games.
What's yours?
The first thing, I know it's not because I know you, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I think In Your House, amazing match, by the way, Bret Hart versus Hakushi. Man, awesome. But,
So
I
my
mean, you
number
say-
6.
You say In Your House, Canadian Stampede match?
My number 6 is Mankind versus Shawn Michaels at In Your House Mind Games. So here's the thing
Hit
about
the
this match.
Rikishi on him, Braden. Come on, Braden. Come on, Braden. We need to make that a thing.
Oh yes, yeah, you gotta
We need a
raise up the
Rikishi
roof.
segment.
Yep. But man, here's the thing, and I was thinking about this earlier too. Wrestling looks so choreographed nowadays, right? But man, did Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley look like they were having a fight?
Oh,
They beat the snot out of each other in this match, and they were so creative too. Like Shawn Michaels has gone on record in saying that that match was one of his favorites of his entire career, and that's saying a lot because he had some of the best matches in wrestling
I
history.
will say, I think there are still workers that can work that style, and
Mhm.
we're getting a little more of them back into like the mainstream. Because
Mhm.
right now in WB, you have Randy Orton,
Right.
Kevin Owens, Tama
Mhm.
Tonga,
Sammy.
Gunther, Sammy,
Mhm.
Gable. Gable for sure.
Gable's still like a little choreographed kind of Kurt Angle, like more, but like like as far
Oh,
as like
you mean like as far as like fighting?
Yeah, to make it look like they're in a
Sheamus.
struggle, in a fight.
Sheamus. 100%
Sheamus,
Sheamus,
yes,
But like
yes.
if every match, like dude, this may sound crazy, but so far one of my favorite matches this year is Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton from like
That was
SmackDown.
such a good
That match was
match.
awesome.
They had great
Those two,
chemistry.
and then they worked so well together in that tag team match at Backlash.
Hmm
Props to Tama Tonga for taking the brainbuster through the chair bridge. That's one of the craziest things I've seen.
Insane.
There's also something that I want to add, and it's because people trash him all the time, but Solo is doing such a good job right now.
I'd have to agree with it with you
He's
on
I was
that.
going to
it's not
say, when the world doesn't agree with me.
it's not that he's doing a bad job. It's just that he's sharing the screen with Tama Tonga. So it's kind of
Well, you got to also think Solo has been like kind of like a guy pushed to the side a lot, and now
Yeah.
he's just thrown into a spotlight.
yeah.
And it kind of, which no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of Cena when he was first like thrown in to the spotlight.
Mm.
But
I
Reminds me
do
of
think that whenever
David
Roman
Otunga.
comes back, that I do think whenever Roman comes back, that he will make Solo look like $1,000,000.
Mhm.
I really
I mean,
believe
Roman
that.
can make anyone look like $1,000,000.
I agree with you there. A lot of people
He
won't
turned
agree
Jey
with that.
Uso into a main event name.
You're right. You're right.
No pun intended, but
Got to acknowledge the tribal chief.
3 L's up.
There you go. There you go. Oh, he did it the Rock's way. Uh-oh.
There
He
you go.
acknowledges the final boss. But anyway, back to what I was saying. When you watch this match, you literally are thinking that Shawn Michaels is fighting for his life. Like Mankind is trying to kill him. Like,
Foley was such a good wrestler too.
oh,
Such a
absolutely.
good wrestler.
Underrated worker.
Mhm.
Like seriously. Like no one gives him the credit that they just look at him as the hardcore guy, but he was so intelligent. And he
Exactly.
was so smart, and he made things make sense. And my favorite spot, one of my favorite spots in that match, so he got caught up in the ropes like he did in Germany when he lost his ear. It was the hangman spot.
Mhm.
And Shawn comes over to him, and and Mankind just sticks the mandible claw in him, and
Yep.
literally Mankind's hanging from the ropes, and he's still trying to get Shawn Michaels in that mandible claw.
Mhm.
So good. It
He's
made
trying any way
Mankind just
possible to hurt
yes,
Shawn Michaels, even when he's
yes,
himself.
exactly. And I love that. It made Mankind into a main event superstar in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave Shawn Michaels an edge that he really needed at the time.
Which another thing is, I wish they hadn't pushed Foley into a comedic relief character.
Right.
Because I mean, look at what he did as Dude Love, like corporate Dude Love. That was
Mhm.
some of the best heel work I've ever seen. It was some
Oh
of my
man, it
favorite
was
heel
so
work.
good. And his matches were Austin was so good.
Yes.
So good.
I mean, I think we all can remember being little kids and seeing the Mankind Jim Ross interview segment.
Oh,
Just ripping the hair out.
oh man.
Awesome.
I don't know why that made me think of Jim Ross getting set on fire by Kane.
It also made me think of that. as well. Justice
that-
for Jim Ross.
The only thing that I would complain about the match was the finish was a DQ finish, but it still doesn't take away from the match.
Didn't Bulldog get involved? Was it
No, I'll tell you who got involved. I remember exactly who got involved. So, Vader comes in, and Shawn Michaels clotheslines Vader. Sid comes out and takes out Vader. Mankind gets Shawn in the
What a
mandible
group
claw.
of names in this ring at one time.
Mankind gets Shawn in the mandible claw, and Mankind came out in a casket with Paul Bearer in the beginning of the match. So Mankind opens the casket up to get Shawn in there, and Undertaker's in the casket and starts beating up Mankind. And also, I forgot this spot, but Mankind was on the top rope, and there was a chair set up in the ring, right? And Mankind had that chair on the top rope, another chair on the top rope. Shawn Michaels jumps up on that chair, leaps from the chair, and super kicks the chair into Mankind's face. Like, and Shawn did the crossbody on Mankind through the table. There was just so much good stuff. He suplexed Mankind on the stairs and then hurt his knees. Like, it was just so good, and it felt real.
And
It felt real.
I kind of overlooked Shawn's ability back then, which he
Mhm.
was an incredible worker.
Mhm.
I really look at his stuff that he did in Ruthless, but Shawn Michaels single-handedly carried New Gen into it was Michaels and Brett that really
Oh,
carried
yeah.
New Gen.
Don't
For
forget
sure.
Jeff Jarrett.
I'm not no. Brayden would be the one to say Jeff Jarrett and Diesel carried New Gen. If you guys are wondering, that's Brayden's type of opinion.
Yes, yeah. Be ready
It's
for it.
true.
Be ready for it.
I like how he
Okay.
agreed with it. All right, Hunter, what's your
All right, so I'm going to
your
number
hint?
5, right?
what's your hint?
Chicago.
The Punk and Cena.
Punk and Cena.
CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank
Absolutely.
2011.
Oh my god. And listen, dude, one of my favorite finishes to a
Oh,
match
man.
ever.
This was booked perfectly.
Yes, it
So
was.
good.
I actually want to pose a hot take. I might have posed this to you guys before.
Uh-oh.
This is a great match.
Mm-hmm.
This is got a great story
I know where
Mhm.
this is going.
and all of that, but it's not their best singles match, I think. I think their best worked singles match was actually Monday Night Raw from February 2013, where CM Punk pulled out the pile driver. That's one. Of,
That was a good match,
that's
too.
like what that match you remember for, but that match is fantastic.
Okay.
It didn't have the story behind it, but the actual, if AEW fans will appreciate this, it didn't have as much story, but the in-ring work was magnificent.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
actually it did have a pretty decent story because it had the Cena's like Rumble spot on the line.
Yeah, they were trying to see who was going to face Rock at Mania.
But also, here's the thing. What was the best pay-per-view last year?
Last year?
Last year.
Backlash.
In 23? Yeah, I'd say Backlash. Yeah.
Why was Backlash the best pay-per-view last year?
The crowd was incredible.
Exactly. And that's why this match was so incredible.
There's just some matches where the crowd makes the match.
Cena and Van Dam
I was
and
fixing to say,
Hammerstein.
man, we talk about Puerto Rico, we talk about France. You ain't gonna be no Hammerstein ballroom.
Hammerstein is crazy.
Let me
Wild.
tell you a match that you guys won't think about when you think of a crowd controlling a match. But one that comes to my mind is when Shawn Michaels defended the title against Psycho Sid at Survivor Series in Madison
Psycho
Square
Sid.
Garden. Psycho Sid, like the crowd was cheering Sid,
Rule
and he
of
was
the
supposed to be the
world.
heel. They were booing Shawn Michaels.
I boo Shawn Michaels.
New York is a very smart city.
Yeah, that's true. But man, did the crowd was so behind CM Punk, and
That's one
everybody
of
played
the
their roles perfectly. So good.
there's been two crowds where I think the fans have been louder than the music. One was CM Punk at Money in the Bank, and the second was Cena at One Night Stand.
Mm,
I think there's one you're missing.
What?
Very recent. I'm surprised you're forgetting it.
What's that?
France for Backlash.
I didn't watch Backlash.
Really?
No.
Bro, you have to watch it, dude.
You
I
do
do
have to
Holy
watch it. It
crap.
was a good show.
That's
Good
a
show.
fantastic show.
Sometimes.
Damian Priest and Jey Uso sucked, but
I did hear the tag match was good with
tag match was phenomenal. But yeah, like Randy Orton comes out to make its entrance, and the whole crowd is singing along with it. And you can barely hear the music. And then when AJ Styles is out and they're making the introductions, the crowd is stomping on their feet and jumping up, and the hard camera is bouncing up and down. They are
oh my
so
gosh.
crazy.
It was wild. It was very wild.
Wow.
The
Watch-
pop when CM Punk won the title was insane. And I love the bit where they were going to try to screw him out of the title like they did
I
Brett.
love the
And
finish.
Cena was like, we ain't doing it that way.
Which
We ain't
it
doing
gives
it
you
this way.
more respect for Cena. And
Right.
in the terms, if you're in a fan perspective and not a smart perspective,
Mhm.
it gives you more respect for Cena for wanting a clean finish.
Right.
Well,
He- Cena
what we're
gets out of
talking
the ring and absolutely laid John Laurinaitis out, dude.
So we were talking about that at work. I'm gonna get myself in some hot water here.
Oh no.
Don't like.
You want to say Montreal's will work?
Well, yeah, but I
we
think
need to discuss that.
real quick. I do think that more people have come around to that possibility now.
What, the Montreal's will work?
Yeah, I feel like that's much more like okay now. You know, like people were kind of like, yeah, we kind of understand you. They may not agree, but they're like, oh yeah, we get you. But anyways,
Scott Hall always said that Montreal was a work, but I mean, look who Scott Hall was friends with.
yeah, but Shawn Michaels.
Exactly.
But you know, I did not agree with Taker winning his final match. I believe that you go out on your back. And even John Cena, most of the time, knew when to lay down.
RVD at One Night Stand.
There were times like SummerSlam 2010 where he didn't. You know, that was terrible.
He should have put him over.
He should have.
That was one of the worst, like,
creative control decisions.
Cena winning maybe wouldn't have been as terrible if it wasn't the way it had happened, with Cena getting planted onto the concrete and attack jump, and then it was down like 3-1 or 4-1, and Cena goes.
Yeah, Cena just one by one picked them off, one
like
by
that,
one.
You know, that single-handedly, like they were talking about Wade Barrett ending the streak, and then Cena ruined that.
Honestly, if anything, they should. I think the best way they could have went about that is to eliminate Cena.
Oh yeah.
Get Cena out. Have Wade Barrett pin Cena clean. That would have been the best way to do it. And I think the coolest way they could have finished that match was to have Bryan as the sole survivor for Team Cena, and had the Nexus go over Bryan.
Yeah, that would have made a
because
lot
of
of
all the
storylines.
stuff that
Yeah,
went down.
that would have made a lot of sense. That would have been very good storyline. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I don't. We talked about that at work. I explained, how it is etiquette to, because we're using AJ and Taker. Taker's leaving. AJ is the one that's going to be on television every week. So now, like, it's like, oh well, AJ, you lost to Undertaker. You had your two buddies helping you, and you still couldn't win.
Right.
So like,
And here's a more recent example. When Sting had his final match, him and Darby beat the Young Bucks. As much as I'm not a Young Bucks fan, I feel like the Young Bucks should have went over. That's just my opinion. I mean, they were trying to
probably
build them up as the heels.
the
It
only
would make sense, right?
I will say the only reason like that doesn't ain't frustrate me as much.
Mhm.
It's because like Sting was never really like, he was a tag team guy, It's never a
Fair
huge
enough.
deal.
That's fair.
And like him and Darby was always the focus. And then like credit to Tony Khan. I do give Tony Khan credit when I feel it is earned. Credit to Tony
I
Khan.
give
Not
Tony
very
Khan no
often.
credit because I hate him. I hate Tony Khan. You can mark that in
Tony-
writing.
Tony
Write that on
Khan.
my gravestone. I
Tony
hate
Khan.
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan's a terrible person. But anyways, like I give credit to Tony Khan.
Bro's wasting $50 million on MJF, Mercedes Moné. Who else is in that?
Okada.
Ospreay and
Ospreay.
Okada. The big four. $50 million on four names that can't draw a nickel.
Anyways, like I give him credit. I like Steve's son. I breaking kayfabe, brother. Sting's. I like Sting's sons coming out and doing the entrance. And I liked him helping him to win the match and everything. And like and I think something like that. Okay, it was Sting's hometown. It was a feel good moment for Sting. Like and again, like you said, like the Young Bucks, they're like sneaky heels. They're like they're not like they're not Triple H. They're not MJF. They're not Gunther. They're slimy heels. They can suffer a loss, especially in a a match with all the bumps and hardcore stuff. Like
I hate them for reasons outside of kayfabe, but I'm not going to go there. Braden's face.
I just think they kind of suck. But
They do.
They do.
that's neither here nor there. So I'll let Hunter continue. Since I went on.
CM Punk was right. Anyway, we're going to number 4. Number 4, you want a
Yes, I do.
you want a hint for number 4?
Sure, let's go.
Legend Killer.
Orton and Cactus Jack. Backlash 2004.
That's it, isn't it?
Yep, that's it. This match made Randy Orton. Like like I said, Mick Foley is the master of making people. Absolutely. Just it gave Randy Orton an edge that he needed, and it made him credible in people's eyes. Just the way that they did that, and the way that they, I'm not like most people when they say, "Oh, hardcore wrestling's bad, deathmatch wrestling's bad." It's good when it makes sense. When it makes sense for the story of a rivalry, I like that. Mick Foley and Randy Orton were building up to this. They had the handicap match WrestleMania 20 with Rock and Sock versus Evolution. And Randy Orton had been just downgrading Mick Foley for months before that, and this was it.
I mean,
Mick Foley brought out his inner.
Well,
Yeah.
Back to what you were saying, like when they needed to put someone over and boost them to that next level, Shawn Michaels, Taker, Rock, Triple H, Randy, Edge. Like when you need someone boost to the next level, Throw him
Mick
in
Foley's
there
your
with
guy.
Mick Foley in a hardcore match, and he will
Yeah.
make them look
He
like
made
a
Edge
million
look like
bucks.
$1 million, man.
Yeah, he did. He
I
really did.
think
Same with Triple H.
going back, that match isn't as good as it's remembered.
Which
I
one?
still think that Orton and Foley is better than Edge and Foley.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Orton and
it
Foley
really
is
is.
actually a really good match. But like
Mhm.
But then you have Foley and Edge versus Dreamer and
Terry Funk.
Terry.
that match is insane.
My heart.
That match is insane.
Bro,
Taking the money.
it's a wonder. It's a wonder Terry didn't start a freaking riot when he came out with that 2x4.
Terry Funk. Love you, brother.
But you want to know what my favorite thing was?
What's that?
It's when they were building up to the thumbtacks, and Randy's going to give Cactus an RKO in the tacks, and Foley just pushes him off, and Randy takes a flat back into the thumbtacks.
It's
You
an
know,
iconic moment too.
Very iconic.
Most people would not be willing to take a flat back in a thumbtacks bare back. Like, it's crazy.
Like, if you look at Orton's Titantron back in the day, that is one of the prominent
yeah.
videos in that is him after the tax spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
And remember, Foley threw him off the stage after that. And he gave him the elbow off the stage after that.
And after watching Orton's what was it? It was like a biography thing that A&E did?
Yeah, maybe.
Or it was like his problems with addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Peacock did it, didn't they?
Maybe.
It was something like that, but he was talking about how bad of a person he was back then. It really shocks me that he took those bumps.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it literally made him.
It did.
Like I said, most people would not be willing to do that.
Definitely not.
I don't think so. And I just enjoy that match so much. And I know people like to think, oh, Edge and Mick Foley. Nah, this match is 100 times better. If I had to choose between both of them and they were falling off a cliff and I had to save one, it's Edge and no, it's Randy Orton and Cactus Jack at Backlash.
Hot take. Randy Orton is miles a better wrestler than Edge.
Dude,
miles.
That don't take a rocket scientist to figure out.
And dude, it's like everybody's like, oh, my favorite wrestler's Edge. And I'm like, bro, what?
Dude, Randy Orton was right there.
You got Orton
Christian
and
was right there.
Taker and I'm being honest, I think Christian was a better wrestler than Edge.
Christian is absolutely a better worker.
I love Christian.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd
have to agree with that.
Another guy that which I mean he didn't carry TNA, but he was a big name in TNA.
I would say he probably carried him for that first year he was there.
Well, like 06, 07 ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him and Abyss.
Until Kurt and Sting came in for sure.
Well, Sting was there.
Yeah, Sting was already there
before.
Sting came in.
Maybe they came in at the same time. I don't remember.
Maybe.
I thought Sting came in like late 04, early 05, wasn't it?
I think maybe he came in 04, but didn't like stay.
He didn't sign a full-time deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was only there on a few appearances.
Yeah.
Which
came in with the Spike deal and stuff.
Christian Cage and Sting and Abyss had a really good three-way dance. This is amazing. That's when Sting won the title.
It was a good match.
Oh yeah. Good
okay,
stuff.
we were talking about Foley and
Randy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Foley, mastermind in the ring.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
probably the most intelligent wrestler of all time.
Yes, he makes his spots count. He makes the violence mean something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like. I don't like just getting hit with stuff just to get hit with stuff. It has to have meaning to me.
Prime example.
It has to gel together to make sense to me.
Prime example, No Way Out 2000.
Mm-hmm.
If Foley loses, he has to retire.
Mm-hmm.
So
Back
he's
the next
he's
month.
fighting through every ounce of pain. Dude got pedigreed. Well, no, he was going to get pedigreed on fire.
Mm-hmm.
No,
No, he was about to
he was going to
drive
pile drive Triple H onto
Yes.
onto the
Yes.
2x4, and he
Mhm.
backdropped him. Best Jim Ross call I've ever heard. The SOB's getting up. He's still alive. He's just
No,
crawling. He's crawling out of that hole, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude.
the best Jim Ross call is, no, not the Dippin' Dots. Into the Dippin' Dots. The darn Dippin' Dots. But now you mentioned Foley being like the most intelligent professional wrestler of all time.
Mhm.
I think Kurt Hennig. I think Kurt Hennig's a little bit above.
That's arguable.
That
Because
is,
Kurt
yeah.
Hennig, he was always so aware. Like I remember a match. It was him and Brett. I think it was their King of the Ring match. And they've both had 2 matches. It's a couple hours into a show, and Henning was setting up a spot and he tripped. He fumbled. It happens. Any other wrestler would have just like kind of tried to pretend like it didn't happen.
Mhm.
But when he tripped and fell, Kurt like started selling his leg and he was like banging it and kind of bending it and making it like, man, my leg's giving out. I gotta try and like he was that smart. He was always thinking.
Yeah.
His brain was always in wrestling mode.
He was oh man, he was so good.
Which I
And
gotta
that's what
give
I
it
like.
to. What is it,
Oh,
Hunter?
go ahead. You go ahead, man. You go.
I gotta give it to Foley, man. There is not another person in this world that I think would take thumbtacks to the face.
Man, that pedigree
Triple
was
H pedigreed him on thumbtacks.
I mean, I've seen it for sure before.
Oh yeah,
Well,
because he
since
watches death matches. That's
yeah,
why.
I've seen some
They do
pretty
that on the second match on the card.
yeah. Thumbtacks are like a rest hold.
Oh yeah, right. If you get blown up, that's like a choke slam.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right. So we are at number 3. Ooh,
Yeah.
number 3. Number 3.
Spicy top 3. All right, what's our hint?
Okay. The start of a saga at WrestleMania.
Oh,
Taker Michaels. Taker Michaels.
I'd have to say
25.
Taker Michaels.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was gonna say it's no way it's Triple H and Undertaker at WrestleMania 17.
No. That match was good, but it's not
It
my
was.
top
It's a
10.
great match. Great match.
It was a great match.
That's
But
another
man,
one.
what-
That's another one. If you've never seen Triple H and Undertaker from 17, watch it.
Mhm.
That is honestly might be match of the night.
Dude,
on
I'm
X7.
telling you, that is one of my favorite streak finishes of all time. Like,
It's pretty amazing.
Triple H was on the top rope just beating Taker's head in, and Taker gets him in the
Brilliant.
last ride and slams
Mhm.
him. Oh,
What's-
man, that's great.
What's funny about that match is so the sledgehammer they used, it was a rubber sledgehammer head,
Mm-hmm.
and in the spot Triple H came down with it, but the handle it was on was real wood, and it poked through the rubber and got Taker's head and
Taker.
busted him open.
Oh
hard.
yeah, busted him open. Yeah, I remember
Yep,
that.
Yep.
It's a great
But
match. I'm
man,
telling you.
what can I say about this match that hasn't already been said by millions of people? Literally one of the greatest wrestling matches ever.
It's on my list, and it's in my top 3.
I figured it would be.
It's so
I
crazy.
figured.
It is still so crazy because I don't think a single match on your list is on my list. I really don't think.
That match was just special. It was.
It was.
And it's like Jim Ross said. Another great Jim Ross call. I had an out of body experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like unheard of for someone, which no one kicked out of the Tombstone at Mania since Kane, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kane kicked out of it at
Who
14.
at 14? Who else
Mhm.
did anyone else kick out of the Tombstone since? Like at Mania?
You know, nothing's coming off the top of my head. No.
Because I remember how shocked everyone was when Michaels kicked out of the first one.
Mhm.
What about Batista?
I don't think Taker gave him a tombstone.
No?
Wasn't
I
the
don't think
finish-
so.
The finish was a choke slam, wasn't it?
Or
Maybe
was
that
it
or
the,
a last
was
ride.
it the triangle choke?
I don't
Or
know.
had he busted that out? Yeah, when did he start doing the triangle choke?
I would
That
say
was
he
about
started.
2008, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Huh.
About a year shot.
I think he might have used that. I think he
I
might have
thought
used
he
that
used
against
it.
Edge at Mania.
That sounds right.
But man, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker
Taker
have
Batista
great
was
chemistry.
23, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's the thing. I think 4 of Shawn Michaels' greatest matches are with Taker.
Mhm. I would have to agree
Both
with that.
Mania matches, the Cell, and I think the casket match was good.
The casket match was good. Yeah, I really like
It's
that
just a
match
shame
too.
that Sean got hurt.
Which
Okay,
people
so
think
yeah,
that was a work, but anyway.
So yeah, the
I
finish
know, it
was
wasn't a work.
Taker hitting Batista with a tombstone.
Was it?
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I must not have remembered them, but
the significance of Michaels kicking out of that. But then the next year he kicked out of 3, so I
Well,
mean,
that's because the stakes were higher. His career was on the line, Nick.
but the finish to this match is my favorite streak finish of all time.
Man. Oh my gosh.
The moonsault, and I listened to a podcast or interview. Michaels said that they had practiced that and they never got it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he said because they kept doing it on a crash pad, and Michaels said that he would be off by a couple inches, or Taker just couldn't catch him. And he said that when he did it, he literally prayed, and Taker caught him. It is a perfect finish. Perfect.
It's so good. It's so good. You cannot go wrong with it. Like there's nothing I can't say that has already been said. Like I cannot come up with anything new to say that has already been said about it.
On top of it, Taker was concussed halfway through, was he not?
Right. That dive on the outside messed him up big time. It sure did. But it was just phenomenal. Absolutely incredible.
And
Undertaker's one of the greatest workers ever.
to top it, my brother was there. Live.
He was there, wasn't he?
Mhm.
Wow.
And I was outside. I was in the
was
presence of that match.
You were close to
watch it,
greatness.
but I was there.
You were close to greatness. So I think I'm going to move on to number 2.
I know what number 1 is.
Yeah, I know what number 1 is.
But number 2, here's your hint. Here's your hint for number 2. Acknowledge me.
WrestleMania 30.
Yeah. Reigns, Bryan,
36?
and Edge at 36.
Yep, you guys got it right. Oh my gosh.
Was 36 or 37?
37, because 36 was COVID, and he took that leave of absence during COVID, and he came back at Summers. Okay, so let's just get this settled right here. Roman Reigns, this run that Roman Reigns had is one of the greatest runs that I have ever witnessed as a fan.
Roman's one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live.
I mean,
in this one run alone,
the best storyteller in the ring I've seen in a long time. He gets it, and he has improved so much from 2015 and Suffer and Succotash. Like,
I have to give most of the praise to Heyman. Heyman helped him tremendously.
absolutely.
Tremendous.
Just the tribal chief run is something that I don't think I'll ever forget.
Once again,
It's
he launched Jey Uso into stardom.
right. He's
Every-
over. Jey Uso. I never thought Jey Uso would be over as a single star. Like no
No.
one could have ever imagined that. But look at him now.
I wish
It's
we could
because of
say
that
the same
run.
for Jimmy, because I really like Jimmy. Jimmy's
I
a
think
great worker too.
John Cena is very jealous of Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Yeah, as John Cena got over and got by with only doing 5 moves, Jimmy gets away with doing 3. So
But man, this match had a lot of meaning to it. Cause think about it. Roman Reigns didn't know if he was going to be able to come back because of his leukemia. Edge had his neck injury. Daniel Bryan had the concussions. They all three came back and they all main evented WrestleMania together. That's something that's crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And the match was so good. It was so good.
It was.
You know when I was watching back in 2021, I was going through a rough time in my life. I was going through depression and just life was tough. My dad had just got diagnosed with cancer about 6 months before, um, and that run it got me through a lot. It really, I look forward to watching wrestling again because I was kind of in a downward
You're where
slope.
I am right now.
You miss Roman Reigns. That's what
I do.
you miss Roman Reigns.
I do.
Nick, I know you've talked about not being a big fan of wrestling anymore, but like I'm slowly starting to fall more and more in love with wrestling because of everything that's going on in WWE right now. Like Tama Tonga, I know I won't shut up about Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga alone has made SmackDown better.
Which
Nick would be a fan of Tama Tonga if he watched him. I really think he would.
honestly,
Nick,
it's not because of what they're doing creatively. It's just there's other things that, for one thing, I just forget that it's on.
Hmm
Nick,
I forget it.
You gotta watch Backlash this week, buddy.
I do need to watch Backlash.
You do need to watch Backlash, and Clash is on tomorrow. So
It's true.
as we're recording, well, it'll be up on Tuesday, but today's Friday. But anyway, um, just the way they told the story in the match was done very well. Edge and Daniel Bryan started working together, and then they were like, "Huh, we need to take each other out." So they took each other out, and the build-up was so good for it too. The build-up was fantastic. I love the build-up. Edge won the Rumble. Daniel Bryan kept getting chance after chance to face Roman Reigns, and it kind of made Edge into a tweener, kinda, because Daniel Bryan was the babyface. There was no doubt about that, and Roman was the heel. But Edge was that tweener. He hated the fact that Daniel Bryan kept getting more
Mhm.
opportunities when it was supposed to be him and Roman alone. I
Because
loved it.
didn't he like? I remember like part of the build wasn't like Edge gonna concerto Danielson. That
I
a
think
thing to like try to take him out, but it never happened.
I don't know. I don't know if it ever got to that point, but the finish to that match was so good. Roman said in a promo he's going to smash them, stack them, and pin them.
And he did
And he
it.
did just that. He dragged Daniel Bryan on top of Edge and pinned them both at the same time.
Which personally, it's a great match. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite of the Tribal Chief run.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's yours? Is it on your top 10 or you want to share?
I want to share.
Okay,
It's
share.
Roman versus Jey Uso at Hell in a Cell 2020.
Oh my gosh, that was a
Beautiful
good one,
match.
too.
Beautiful match. It recreated Rocky 4.
It really did.
It
It
did.
really did if
It
you
was
think
amazing.
about it.
If he dies, he dies.
My favorite is when talking about that match, Roman's literally crying
Yeah.
when Jimmy's like telling Jay to stop, and then Roman just gets him in the guillotine, and then
Well, I love it
he
so
just,
much.
oh man, it was
And
so
then
good.
and then he gets crowned with the necklace.
Hmm
Oh man, beautiful
One of
match.
the better cell matches in the PG era, in my opinion.
I'd tell you a cell match that goes overlooked, man. That's Randy and Jeff.
Jeff Hardy, yep, that was a good one too.
It was great.
But
Okay,
man, that was my number 2, so we only got one more left.
I know you're number one. This is a match.
Do you need a hint, or do you just want to go ahead and say
I
it?
want to go
We
ahead
know
and say
it. Nick,
End of
you
an
Just say it.
era.
End of an
WrestleMania
era.
28. Triple H versus The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels
Okay.
special guest referee. And the greatest special guest referee job ever.
Okay. This match has a lot of sentimental value to me. This was the first WrestleMania that me and my dad watched together on pay-per-view live. And I remember I was so excited for that match because I was such a huge Undertaker fan. I still am. Undertaker's my favorite wrestler of all time. There's no doubt. No doubt about it. I was just so excited for that match. And literally, when I was watching, I literally thought, what I'm watching is history.
Art.
It's art. It was just, I don't have words to describe how I felt watching that match. It's just, I mean, everybody was so excited for Cena and Rock, and that was great. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't resonate with The Rock like I did The Undertaker.
I felt
If
like
that
Shawn
makes sense.
Michaels throughout that entire match. You know, Michaels, you remember they did
Yeah,
the sweet
like,
chin to pedigree
yeah,
combo and
the
Taker
sweet chin
kicked out.
music to the, yeah, like,
And
Shawn
Michaels
Michaels,
jumped in the corner. He's just like, because he knew
his,
Taker told him, he was like, hey,
mhm,
you get involved, you're done.
yeah,
Thought that they finished Taker off and he
the
kicked out
build
Michaels.
was phenomenal.
Yes.
The match was incredible.
That build took
It was a
four.
year long too, if you think about it.
Four. I think you have to go back to 25.
Yeah,
25,
you have to
26,
start there.
28.
That's why I said start of a saga when I said Undertaker and Shawn, because it started that whole saga between those 3 guys.
Which, personally, Hunter,
Mhm.
this is my hot take, and you know how I feel about this. I
Yeah.
think the 27 match was better than the 28 match.
I know you feel that way, and also I will agree that if the 27 match didn't happen, the 28 match wouldn't have been as good. I will admit to that. I will agree to that.
Oh my gosh, the 28 match was
The 28
phenomenal.
match was so good, man. And you know, as much as I love Undertaker, he should have retired after that match.
Mm-hmm. It would.
How could
I think it would have been a perfect moment if Taker and Triple H retired.
right? You couldn't have got any better than that. I know people are fans of the Punk match the next year and
Which it was.
whatever. It was great. Don't get me wrong.
Punk match was awesome.
But there's nothing that can compare to what they put on at 28.
Which
Well,
28 is one of the greatest manias ever. It's one of my favorites.
Mhm.
Because you had H and Taker. You had
top
Punk
10.
and Jericho. You had Cena and Rock, which I'll be honest with you, there has not been hype. I would say if it weren't for Cody and Roman, which they matched that hype.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cena and Rock, there was nothing that could touch the hype for that match.
Mhm.
Now we're throwing WrestleMania 29 out the window. WrestleMania 28 was the biggest WrestleMania
Yeah.
of all time until this year.
Until 40,
Yes.
which 40 was phenomenal. We need to
40
talk
was
about
great.
that sometime.
We do.
But man, like I said, just the build up to Triple H refusing and Undertaker cutting his hair off because he kept refusing, because even though Taker won the match, he didn't win the war. He couldn't walk on his own merit to get out after that match. He wanted that, and Triple H wouldn't give it to him, so he started cutting his hair off. And then when he finally came out at Mania, and he took the hood off and he showed that he shaved his hair, and it's just something special, man.
I think that was the coolest part, was that he wore the hood and not the traditional hat.
Hat and the jacket, yeah.
Because I remember when he took that off, everybody was like, they wanted to see what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was, you could hear a pin drop in that arena when he took that hood off.
Mm-hmm. It was just, to me, it was just so good.
It was poetry.
Those poetry.
4 years were poetry.
Yeah. If a non-fan is asking me to show them a match, it'd be that one.
Yeah.
It would be those 4 matches to tell the story of what, because it's incredible. It's literally 3 guys who were considered the
really
best
funny.
in the game. Just go out there and steal the show. It's really
funny you say that, because I have a match that I always show non-fans, new fans, and it's on my list, but it is it's not Taker, and
I know what it is.
Oh, you'll find out next week.
Yeah, next week we're doing Braden's list. So.
I think.
What do you think it is?
Survivor Series 02.
You're not far off. I am known to show that to new fans, but not the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, I have no clue then.
Well,
but yes, I do show a lot of people the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time, the OG.
Oh, come on, that ain't 2015. Come on.
The Ryback.
I'm ribbing you, brother. I'm ribbing you.
The Ryback.
But
now 20.
So that was my top 10. What do you think? What do you guys think of my top 10? Do you think I did okay? Was it trash?
A great list.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Together.
I want to do my list now. But,
he's ready for it.
Yeah, this week, because I've added a few more matches, so this week I'm gonna
we'll be recording like 2.5 hours with Braden, because we have so many matches and he can't decide where to put them. He'll have like 12 honorable mentions.
This week I'm gonna go. I think right now I have like 12 or 13 on my list, so I'm gonna watch them all, and I'm gonna try and narrow it down to only one honorable mention. So I'm gonna only try and narrow it down to 11. But if not,
there you go. Well, that's acceptable.
I'm gonna try only narrow it down to one honorable mention and then my top 10. I think we might have we don't have any the same. I don't think there might be one or two that kind of evoke some of your choices.
I think me and Hunter have 2. We have 2.
Okay.
I don't even know your list, Nick.
Yeah, Nick's list is a mystery to all of us.
I'm mysterious.
He's not said anything about it. Whenever we've asked him in our group chat, he's just been like, "I'm still working on it."
I'll blow it off.
So,
yeah, I think
I have a rough draft, but
he does have a rough draft.
I like to keep things a surprise.
Yeah, he wants to keep it a mystery for us. So
it's like when I said Christian's in my top 10 wrestlers of all
time. But next week we're doing Braden's top 10, and we may talk about Clash at the Castle, because after this week, this will drop on Tuesday, but today's Saturday morning at 1:30, so we won't be able to really, talk about it.
Right.
But we'll be able to talk about it next week, and then we'll do Braden's top 10, and then the week after that we'll get to Nick's.
I'm looking at my list now. So I had 14 matches. I went ahead. I took 2 off.
Oh, okay.
I am gonna try 2 fantastic matches, great matches, but I do kind of like Hunter did. I do want to try and keep it like a personable list at the same time.
Yeah. Just know that Jeff Jarrett versus Razor Ramon will be on his list.
It's not on here yet, but I mean,
wow. As much as you talk about that friggin' match.
That is a fantastically worked match, but it's screwy finish. It's a dusty finish.
Yes.
And the roadie.
So
Hmm?
And the kid.
Yeah, the roadie and the kid and all kind of stuff.
So follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, sub to the YouTube channel, and listen to us on wherever you listen to podcasts. And we will be back next week at the Dusty Finish. See you
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Thanks for
It's been
watching.
fun, guys. Thank you.
Peace.